Hi everyone! Now we have come to the last episode of our short series. If you have watched all of the previous parts, you will know what we are going to talk about today to complete it. That's right, it is writing. Writing is a very complex skill. Students need to show a good command of the language to build sentences to begin with. They also need to combine those sentences into a text in a logical way, which requires a lot of planning and thinking. So clearly, writing goes way beyond just linguistic knowledge, which is perhaps why students find it so challenging. Today, I want to share 4 tips with you. The first 2 refer to what you can do in the classroom to help your students develop their writing skills. The next 2 refer to what the students can do on their own during the exam to score more points. So, in the classroom, first of all, do process writing activities. The best way to show students how the process of writing works is to help them build a text sentence by sentence. And that's exactly what process writing is all about. Let me tell you how it works. Start by choosing a task and ask the students to brainstorm ideas. Once this is done, ask a pair of students or an individual student to suggest an opening sentence and write it on the board. When the opening sentence is on the board, ask the class to suggest what could come next. And now when a student makes his or her suggestion, discuss as a class if it fits, if it matches the previous sentence, if it's cohesive with the previous sentence. And if it is, write it on the board. Repeat the same with sentence number 3, sentence number 4, and so on, and continue the procedure until the whole text is ready. Now, this kind of activity is very eye-opening for the learners because they are shown very clearly how texts are constructed. Another thing you may do in the classroom is to study model answers. All exam candidates should be told explicitly what their texts will be evaluated for. Unfortunately, looking through all the assessment criteria included in exam handbooks is rather difficult, especially for teenagers. Therefore, we should take some time during the lesson to help students understand how scoring works. In order to do so, you may use a written assignment of one of your students from the previous years. Display it on the board. Distribute the matching written task, together with the assessment scales. And score it together as a class, discussing its content, communicative achievement, organization, and language. Such an activity is worth doing at the beginning of the course so that students know what to pay attention to while doing written tasks in the future. So these were the tips for the classroom. How about the tips for the exam? Well, make sure that during the exam your students, first of all, think before they write. Very often, exam candidates just read the task and start writing right away without much thinking. However, it's virtually impossible to build a coherent text without thinking it through. So instead of just grabbing a pen and getting down to the task, encourage your students to spend a few minutes thinking about the topic, making a list of points to be included, planning what to write in each paragraph. This is actually a habit we should build over the whole exam course through proper strategy training. Take a look at these examples. These are exam and writing strategies from 3 consecutive units in Optimise Stars. Students are reminded to make a list, plan their text, and think about the topic. One of these guidelines tells the students to first come up with several topics and then choose the one which they have the most ideas about. Okay, so this is before writing. And after? Another habit we should build during the exam course is proofreading. Tell the students to always save some time for reading their text critically and carefully. Mind you that proofreading is not only about correcting mistakes, but also about upgrading the language. Tell the students to read their first draft, replace 4 to 5 words in it with some more advanced items. This will definitely help them score more points for language. Okay, so this is it. We have gone through all of the exam skills and all of the exam parts. Once you have tried out some of the tips that I have talked about, feel free to reach out and share your experience. Or perhaps there are some useful teaching ideas you would like to share with us. Anyway, bye for now and good luck.